evening, everybody, and welcome to the BAM Sports Show. I'm your host, Blake. It is August 2nd, draft deadline day, and of course, I'm joined with my dude,
Draft
Ryan.
deadline. Trade deadline.
Trade deadline. Holy shit. Holy shit. Well, I mean, really, for the Cubs, there wasn't really a trade, so
Well, there's a
there
couple.
were, but it was a good day. I'm happy. I'm
I,
happy.
I have mixed feelings, but we'll get into it.
We'll get into that later. First, let's do it. We got obviously some NFL news to talk about here in a little bit. But first, I know we wanted to start with taking a moment to remember the amazing career of Celtics basketball player Bill Russell.
Hall of Famer.
Ryan, I know you are a big fan.
11-time NBA champ. 11 rings. 12-time All-Star. Played for one team. You never see people do that anymore. One team. From 56 to 69. But for 3 of those years, he was actually a player coach. Won championships on all of those.
Hold on, I got a question. Did he years say 7, 8, 9 as a player coach and then go back to just being a player? How did that work? Or did he the last 3 years of his career he was a player coach?
The last 3 years of his career.
That's cool. I did not know that.
Yep, he was a number 2 overall pick, selected by the St. Louis Hawks,
who are now that has left St. Louis.
The Atlanta Hawks. He's
sorry about that, guys.
He's remembered for, being the guy to really invent the modern blocking game. He's the number 1 in history in defensive win shares. So just by the numbers, he was like the best defensive player ever.
Was he tied or have it outright? I thought you said he was tied, right?
It's outright.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. But not only that, he was he was a civil rights pioneer, marched with Dr. King. He was with Muhammad Ali when he was standing up for the sports figures' lives and everything. It was a good human. Did not like the Boston fans.
But he spent his whole career there.
Did not like the Boston fans because they were racist.
So, drafted by St. Louis with the Hawks, did he get traded to Boston or did he sign with them? Do you know?
I don't actually know. I think he was traded. Yeah, he was traded. Like a draft night trade.
Oh, the same night.
I think so, yeah. Like he never put on a Hawks jersey.
Oh, I forgot. Basketball's weird like that. Like that shit happens all the time.
Yeah, sign-in trades and draft night trades, player
really
trades.
Fucking weird.
You've never seen that in it, like the NFL. I've always wondered if they could.
Could they?
I don't. You know what I mean? Because I can trade up and grab your number 1 overall pick, but once you pick what happened with Eli? Eli was drafted by one team and traded, but I don't know if that was after the draft night or not. I'd have to look that up.
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about Eli being the. Yeah, Keith is saying Eli and Phillip, of course. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, great career for him. Do we know?
He was 88.
Oh, okay. Keith is saying it was the same night.
Okay.
So that's interesting. So I guess you can do that.
I guess it's just way more common in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. Someone gets your guy. Why wouldn't NBA? More common in NBA.
I don't know.
But anyway, so since we're kind of on the NFL, we'll get into it. We've got Deshaun Watson's suspension finally came out. We've got a couple of injuries around the league,
Well,
and then we've got the big one, the scandal down in Miami.
Let's start with Deshaun because that's the first tab I have up on my screen, but B, that's a pretty controversial thing that happened.
Yeah.
I for a long time obviously pushed for, but thought the indefinite suspension or the outright just year was appropriate.
Mhm.
I kept seeing the 2 to 8 weeks, 2 to 8 weeks, 2 to 8 weeks thing, and I didn't buy it. I thought it was going to be more severe. I mean, Calvin Ridley put a $1,000 parlay, and he got suspended for a year.
1,500.
1,500. It doesn't matter. In a game that he wasn't playing, I think he was already out for the season at that
Yes,
point.
he was.
So then started hearing a lot more of that 2 to 8, and then you see the players union come out and say they're not going to appeal it, which made me worried. And then
Right.
6 games. He's going to miss. I saw the way his contract was structured. I think I saw that he's going to miss out with game checks like $345,000.
That's crazy.
That's it. That's it. So the last page is kind of the most interesting one for me. There's 16, really 15 pages in the Watson conclusion, but I'll just read this last page. The NFL may be a quote-unquote forward-facing organization, but it is not necessarily a forward-looking one. Which that first line is just like legal bitch slap, like forward-facing versus forward-looking. Just as the NFL responded to violent conduct after a public outcry, so it seems the NFL is responding to yet another public outcry about Mr. Watson's conduct. So she's calling out that the NFL arbitrates their, justice due to the public.
Yeah.
And she goes on, at least in the former situation, the policy was changed and applied proactively. Here, the NFL is attempting to impose a more dramatic shift in its culture without the benefit of fair notice to and consistency of consequence for those in the NFL subject to the policy. So she's calling out the NFL there for arbitrarily changing their policy on this kind of stuff. And,
Well, yeah, they're all over the place. They've been all over the place.
Yeah. Looking at the record when compared to the relevant precedent and looking forward to how this disciplinary determination might be used in the future, I find the most appropriate landing place to be as followed. Watson, 6 games. Although this is the most significant punishment ever imposed on an NFL player for allegations of nonviolent sexual conduct, which I disagree with the use of nonviolent there. I mean, even though he didn't assault anybody physically, like by grabbing their hand or thrusting it on them, and he instead just showed him his butthole and stuff. It's still the non-consent, and the power play there is still just a form of violence. Violence doesn't always have to be physical.
I could understand what you're saying.
So I think that's right there is kind of a big swing and a miss from Sue Robinson, the new disciplinary arbiter. It says, recognizing that the only discipline mentioned in the CBA is a fine or suspension, I nevertheless believe it appropriate for Mr. Watson to limit his massage therapy to club-directed sessions and club-approved massage therapists for the duration of his career, and so impose this mandate as a condition to his reinstatement. Which,
yep,
it has no teeth, but that was hilarious.
Yeah. I looked at it when we went back and forth. I agreed with a year. not based on, and it's gonna sound bad. There are people on Facebook that are Browns fans that have justified his behavior.
Yeah.
These are just allegations. They're just allegations. My thing is, you represent the league. If your behavior
Hmm.
does not represent the league in a manner that is facing forward,
And
or forward facing,
that's the consistency
or
there, right? Like that's how they used
right.
to do it. Like,
Well, look
I
at
mean,
Kareem Hunt and Ray Rice.
yeah,
One is a running back in the league. One never saw the league again.
yeah, a little different,
You know, sure,
you
but
know.
both violent offenders.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
are violent offenders.
violent, actual violent.
So I don't know. I expected after we started seeing the 6 to 8, I
Yeah,
was I was fully on the 6 because it's the league.
yeah.
You know.
It's disappointing. Now it's not technically over. Roger Goodell still has another day or so
That's true.
to. I don't think he even has to appeal it. I think he can just go, nah, we're gonna do this. Thank you for
Yeah.
your, you know,
Input
input.
or your
But
work or
yeah,
whatever.
but it doesn't sound like anybody's expecting that to happen. So it's gross. That's the
Yeah.
the end of that. It's
I'm just thankful I'm not a Browns fan. I don't have to support the guy.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
I'm a Bears fan. I'm a Bears guy. I don't have to I don't have to root for Deshaun Watson. I'm never gonna take him in fantasy.
No.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. You know, but so I don't have to support the guy. I'm not a Browns fan. So good luck to you if you are.
But yeah, that was the big controversy there. I wouldn't want to be a Browns fan just for the sake of being a fan of anything in the Ohio area.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Cincinnati is in Ohio, bro.
Yeah, but isn't it basically Kentucky?
I mean, if you fart, they'll smell it in Kentucky. Yeah, it's pretty close.
We got some injury news. Tim
Yeah,
Patrick carted off with a ACL.
that's
Um,
3 in 3 years for the Broncos.
is it really?
Yeah,
No shit. Wow.
yeah. Trace and trace.
Hmm.
So if you are if you are a wide receiver and you have concern about your ACL, do not sign with the Denver Broncos.
Or at least try to sit out preseason, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. That's 3 in a row for them.
Tampa Bay looks like they've lost two. I'm seeing if there's a update on that, but it sounds like they lost two pretty big pieces of their
Yeah,
offensive
that
line.
center.
Um, did I pass it?
They lost their center and I think the left tackle maybe. Could be
Riley
wrong,
Reef.
but I know the center is correct.
Yep.
No, Riley Reef is a Bear. How high are you right now?
Very, but I
Riley
thought
Reef
that's
is a
what
Bear.
I thought I read that somewhere.
I hope Riley Reef is not on that report.
Or maybe it's somebody else that I'm thinking of the wrong name. I'm looking it up. Going back in
In
a
Tampa?
message. Yeah.
In Tampa or Chicago?
In Tampa.
Oh, Tampa, I don't know. Chicago lost their center as well, though. He had finger surgery.
Oh, he should be fine though.
Joe Burrow has appendicitis out just like me. Let's see if he follows it up 2 months later with toe amputation. I hope he does not.
I hope not.
But he's also appendicitis faster this year, so I'm eager to see him. Did you see Jamar Chase come out and say that he was better than Justin Jefferson?
Mhm.
I agree with him.
Mhm. I'm looking. I'm not seeing it.
Oh, you're still trying to figure out who was hurt in Tampa?
Yeah, it was trade deadline, so like yeah. I had a lot of messages today.
Yeah. It was started with an exciting one right out the gate. Something that we thought we were going to be on pins and needles and wait all day long. The MLB was like, "Hey, here you go. It's 10 a.m."
Mm-mm-mm.
That is the Juan Soto trade. If you do not know what I'm talking about,
Well, we gotta before
in
we get
case you
there.
missed it, Juan Soto did get traded to the San Diego Padres. What?
Before we get there, Miami,
Oh yeah, we got to talk
Miami,
about Miami.
Miami,
Oof.
Miami. Following a 6-month investigation, the league found the Dolphins, primarily team owner Stephen Ross and vice chairman slash limited partner Bruce Beal, violated the anti-tampering policy on 3 occasions from 2019 to 2022 in conversations with Tom Brady and former Saints coach Sean Payton. The NFL did not find evidence of uh, the team intentionally losing, but sounds like old Brian Flores was right.
We need to bring Keith onto the show. He has just said in chat that Tristan Wirfs is the Hurt
Tristan
Buccaneer tackle.
Wirfs, that's the name. Woof.
I could understand where you get Riley Reed and or Riley Reed.
Riley Reed is a different person. Not really appropriate for a YouTube chat, though. Just another video site.
So Miami.
Yeah, they lost.
Go figure that Tampa's involved in another, or not Tampa, but Tom.
Yeah.
Now I don't think Tom
Tampa.
I'm torn on this one. You know, like Tom, dude, you're you're the Patriots quarterback in training games. They said it happened in like August of that year.
Mm-hmm.
So like, how committed to New England are you? Going into arguably one of your worst years.
He already knew like that 2019 actually that probably would have been his first year in Tampa, wouldn't it? Or was 2020 his first year in Tampa?
I think 2020 was.
Okay. So, yeah, it would have been at the end of his. Yeah, it would have been the end of his Patriots career then. I mean, everybody knew what was going on. Uh-oh, I think Blake froze. There he is. He's back. Nope.
Yeah,
he's having some internet difficulties.
I can hear you, so keep going.
Okay.
Keep going, we're good.
So yeah, anyways.
I can hear you, my guy.
$1.5 million fine. And they lost 2 picks. 2023 first round pick, which is incredible that they took that from them, and a 2024 third round. So, I mean, that was
amazing.
I haven't really gotten into the meat of everything on this, but the NFL so rarely punishes a full team like that I don't know if this is light or if this is heavy or if this is appropriate, but losing a first round pick is pretty crazy to me. So, baseball.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I think you're on a big delay. He is on a severe delay. There we go. So, the trade deadline happened today.
You got me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, weird. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Breaking news: Vin Scully just passed.
No.
94. Yeah, just came across.
He was... Wow. That's awful. I mean, he was super fucking old.
Well, you know what they say, it comes in threes, too. So, Bill Russell, Vin Scully. Hopefully there's not a third.
Oof.
Ha, Keith, I beat you to it. I think I said that before you put it in chat.
What'd he say?
Vin Scully just passed.
Oh.
But yeah, I think the thing about Miami is you lost a first round draft pick, so now you really don't have a first round draft pick for the next several years, right? Because of the Tyreek package. And because I thought they had 2 first rounds, right? They sent one to Kansas City and they had one, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
So, but now you don't have a first round pick. You don't have one the following season. Now, granted, they are in a position where if they need to fire, so they've got some shit that'll grab some picks.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have Waddle and Tua's contracts coming due around the same time.
Right.
So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays off. I don't think Tom's innocent either. I think Tom should have had some sort of punishment, to be honest with you.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, you know what you're doing.
Takes 2 to tango. Takes 2 to tango.
Yeah.
That's like when somebody has an affair and they only get mad at one of the 2 people. It's like, no, both of you motherfuckers are doing this. Like, it's stupid. So,
Man, I cannot believe.
Any other big injuries that we missed?
Not really.
That Vin Scully news shock you?
Yeah, man, that shocked me. That dude had such a great voice.
Well, he was there for 67 years. Dude.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yep.
Think about that. 67 years. How many baseball games is that?
Well, a lot.
I'm curious. Hold on. Let me grab my phone. So they play 162 a year. So what is that? 81 at home?
Yep. Well, he would call them on the road too.
Oh, you're right. 10,854 games.
Ish. We'll call it as
Not
ish because there's playoffs and maybe he had an off day here and there. And the season, the lockout year, the season wasn't 162. Back in the day, they didn't play 162 games. It was like 145 or something. So I think that all averages out to around 10.
Yeah.
Over 10,000
baseball
games.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah. Heck of a career, heck of a life.
What a career, man. So rest in peace to him, because that's another one gone, man.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. Okay, so who was the first? Before we jump into MLB stuff, who was the first like sports personality that when they passed it affected you?
Harry.
Was it?
Yep.
I was too young for that.
Let's see. Well, I'm old. I'll be 37 the next time we do this show.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he died in 98. So I would have been in 8th grade. And I think that my grandpa died around then. So, and he was one of the ones that got me into the Cubs. And then, the next one is Ron Santo.
Yeah. So my first was Peyton, when Walter Payton passed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I grew up wanting to watch that dude play football, and like.
I thought you meant. I thought you meant broadcaster. Not just.
No, it's like sports personality. So
Yeah,
because
player
if
or
broadcaster. The first one for me would be Ron Santo.
Right. You know what? I think I still go with Harry Carey because it was the voice that I grew up listening to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sitting on my dad's lap or my grandpa's lap, they're drinking a beer watching the game. And in the 80s, cursing out them. And then in the 90s, cursing them out again and again and again and again because they were bad.
It still doesn't change. They're still bad.
But they were
Somehow
good.
we're not in last, though, which is awesome.
Third place. You know, we are only 15 and a half games out.
Hey.
Just not saying there's a chance, but I'm saying mathematically.
Mathematically, we're not eliminated yet. I like it. So let's get into that, right? Because everyone expected the Cubs to sell today, and they didn't sell. I mean, they sold, right? But they didn't sell their soul. Didn't send our boy Willie out of town.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Was not expected. The Hap stuff I kind of expected because he's got another year of control. There's no. He was put out there as a wow us. You know, he's available for the right price, kind of like Otani. Not really an intention of trading, but if somebody wanted to like blow him away. But every indication was Willie was gone. Like,
yep.
He was the most sure to be traded, yada, 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 yada. Well, he played for the Chicago Cubs tonight, and it's wild to me that it worked out that way. Now, I'm happy because apparently the front office and his agent have
now
been
you have
discussing,
to extend him.
Yeah, they've been discussing numbers. So, you know, I'm going to look something up here. I'm going to look up.
That's awesome. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that at all. That makes me happy.
Yeah, that was in...
Man, we wake up tomorrow morning with an extension, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
Probably won't be that quick.
I know, but if it does, Jed Hoyer, listen to me. Jed, look at me. Right in the eyes. Make this happen. I will remove every bad thing I've ever said about you from the internet.
No, he won't.
Thank you. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
He won't.
I know. But, I mean, you know, I watched his interview, I was listening to his press conference. It was interesting because they were asking me, you know, like, it had to have been an emotional week, right, for Ian and Willie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you take that into consideration? And his answer was no, I've got to stay neutral, you know. And like they were asking about last year and like the backlash of the fans and this and that. But I think the one thing, and that Dom guy that you showed me the other night we're following,
mm-hmm.
He put it into words. It was like, you know, this, if anything, this tells you that Jed has a plan. Jed believes in his plan. Jed's sticking to his plan. He's not letting the outside chatter get to him. He's just full steam ahead on his plan, whatever the fuck it may be. You know, I don't understand why he refuses to call it a rebuild. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why are you doing that?
I think it's a semantic thing. And the only reason I think that is because I was trying to come up with the time frame earlier when I was thinking about this. Like a rebuild, when you think of a rebuild, that's a tear it down to the studs, to, you know, the Cubs in 2020 up to 2015 kind of thing. Or 2012,
yeah, is
sorry.
that not what we're doing?
2012 to... Anyways, it's a... I feel like the retooling is going to happen over a shorter time frame. And if it was a legitimate rebuild, you know, we would be seeing a lot more stuff going out for more prospects and all that. If it was a legitimate rebuild, it would be over a longer period.
So I think you and I have had this conversation before. We expect the Cubs to be back in contention 2024. Is that what we've said?
Yeah. Contention, yes.
So
I think that they're buyers at the deadline next year.
They're what?
I think that they are buyers in the at the deadline next year.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
I think
I
that
would
they will
take it.
be
Of course, I'm
competitive.
wrong.
I think they're going to be competitive. I think it'll be a worse version of 2015 where they surprised a lot of people with how good they were, but they're not going as far as they did.
Sure.
They might make a wild card and have a couple of games in the playoffs. I don't think that they will be set up by then. But 2024, I think that's when we start seeing the next great Cubs team, and I think that's when we really start seeing that vision of sustained success.
I hope so, because we were supposed to have it last time.
Well, we were.
We had 2 years.
Yep. You know, the market, they cornered the market on players, hitting players. And they found that was pitching was the hardest thing for them to get. They didn't develop it. They were, Theo was terrible. His regime was terrible at developing pitching.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Jed sees that, and I think that with the additions that they made over the last year and a half with Dan Kantrovitz from the A's and Carter Hawkins coming over from Cleveland,
Yeah.
Cleveland. Both of them have an eye for pitching talent, and both of them, seem to have a little bit better feel for what makes a potential major league contributor. That's why they went so heavy on pitcher in the draft. And I think almost everything they got back in trades was a pitcher. Except for one guy.
And that
except for Zach
was
McKinstry.
one of his comments last year was last year we traded for nothing but bats.
Yep.
Except for I think Killian was the one pitcher we got last year.
Yeah.
This year it was trading for a bunch of pitchers. We got one bat back, So who's the prospect or anyone that we got back today or in the last couple of days that you're most excited about?
The kid we got back from the Phillies on the David Robertson trade. His initials are BB, but I can't remember exactly what they are. Ben Brown. Ben Brown,
yeah.
So he's a 6'7", 6'6". I want to look up his frame size. Oh, Baseball America, you turd. So he's 6'6" and right-hander. He's already had a Tommy John. He's coming back from that. His control isn't as good as his command. And it's a hard thing to explain, like command versus control. He can control his pitches, like his pitches aren't wild, but he can't really command them to go where he wants them to go. I guess is like a easy way of putting how I understand it. But command
ass backwards.
Control, he's got. Command, he doesn't have, and he kind of. Some people profile him as a basically like a closer, like he could be a closer. They think that hitting those short. He's a starter right now, and he's a starter that hits 97 to 98, and has a hard breaking slider. He's got a two-seamer as well, so he throws a cut as well.
What is he at AAA?
He is at high A. No, he's at double A. Sorry, he just got the bump to double A. He's been on a crazy tear though. So since May 15th, this is Brian Smith, who's at Cub Prospects on Twitter. Since May 15th, 58 innings pitched, 58.1 innings pitched. He's given up 40 hits, a 2.31 ERA, 10 walks to 91 strikeouts. That's a 40.2
Wow.
strikeout rate. Had 24
That is
swinging strikes in 2 of his last 4 starts. So he just got promoted to Double A. So he'd be going to Tennessee.
that is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That is nuts.
And
That's
so
literally nuts.
this to me is like the perfect, ideal person for them to attach themselves to in a trade. You know, Robertson was coming in as a rental. We all knew that. This wasn't a competitive club this year. It was all on paper that way. And so we knew that Robertson was coming in and was going to be traded. To get this, knowing what the Cubs have and how they have developed pitchers over the last couple of years, Ethan Roberts, for example, who was traded to the Yankees. The Yankees gave up their number 7 prospect for Scott Efros.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
I really like that return from that pitcher.
Yeah.
That's the one that I've liked. It sounds like he's the safest return. Like he's got a nice full selection of pitches. He's got I think they said 20 plus starts at AAA.
Yeah.
Like he's ready to take that
Yeah.
next step.
Well, I like that, but I think Brown has a higher ceiling potential.
Sure.
Because we've seen what the Cubs have been able to do with the bullpen and with pitchers coming in. They've got some sort of magic cooking in that pitching lab, and to get their hands on a guy like this, 6'6", throws 98, has the strikeout potential. You've seen it. I'm just, man, I am excited to get him in the system.
I think I'm excited to kind of like fast forward 2 years. Like,
yeah,
give me the kids here. Give me, I'm tired of living in St. Louis and the Cardinals beating our asses. Like, I'm just sick of it, But I understand we got to go through we got to go through the weeds to get there, But it's like, damn.
Hayden Wesneski.
Has there been any update on Brennan Davis? Do you know?
No. The last week when we pulled it up was the last thing I've seen. So.
Oh, okay.
He's working his way
what
back.
Were you saying?
So, before we get into any more trades, Jacob deGrom has made his first appearance in the major leagues in over 400 days. 6 strikeouts. He was
throwing some fucking heat.
Threw some motherfucking gas. 102 miles an hour.
I was going to say 102, I think 102.8, right? What he hit?
I think. I mean, it was up there.
That's stupid. Honestly, that is pretty stupid. Okay. DeGrom, that's pretty dumb, dude. Like, you haven't pitched in over a year because you've been hurt. You come out there and they're fucking ripping into your soul, just ripping down as far as you can throw. Jesus.
He's
Mets not big buyers today.
His first pitch was 99 miles an hour. He was pumped up.
Jesus.
Yeah, Mets
Or pissed off.
Well, that's true. Mets didn't really do what we thought they were going to do. They zigged when they should have zagged.
I mean, they made no moves. I mean, obviously they made a couple. I think the only team today that did not make any moves was the Rockies, if I remember correctly.
You do remember correctly. They are under 500, and they go, yeah, we're good. I don't know who you would trade off that team.
They're what?
Like, they're under 500.
Chris Bryant.
No, they can't. There's too much contract there. And I think he's got a no trade clause. Actually, I'm pretty sure he's got a no trade.
Suckers.
Oh well.
He was the one of the three that I was like, all right, well, I'm glad well, I wish we would have kept Riz. I just miss Riz.
We all do. We all do.
So Juan Soto got traded today, not to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Thank goodness.
Happening.
Blake needs to feed his internet hamster because his internet is slow. You keep breaking up and getting a super bad delay.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it do.
All right, well,
I don't even know what he's trying to say. I'm just going to keep going. Padres. Padres acquired Juan Soto, Josh Bell. They gave up Luke Voit, Mackenzie Gore, who I've liked for a long time, C.J. Abrams, an actual stud, Robert Hassel III, another outfielder who I think is fantastic, James Wood, who's just freaking huge, and Jarlin Sasana, who I don't know anything about. That's probably it is the biggest trade I've ever seen. I'm not even going to beat around the bush. Craziest trade I think baseball has seen in a very long time.
And it did not happen with St. Louis.
And it did not happen with St. Louis because they like Dylan Carlson too much.
That's odd to me.
In fairness, did hit a pretty big home run off of us tonight.
I saw that.
Yeah. MLB.com has 9 wild facts about the Soto trade. I might get into them. Soto is the first player to be traded mid-season in the year he was an All-Star at age 23 or younger. That's right. He is the youngest player to change teams during a season in which he was an All-Star. This July wasn't Soto's first All-Star appearance either. It was his second. Soto, who also won the 2022 Home Run Derby, is the first player to make multiple All-Star teams and then change teams all before turning 24.
Who's the second? Who's the other player? Does it say?
No, he's the first player. The only player.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It was his second All-Star appearance. Soto has a 158 OPS plus so far this season. Only 2 players in the live ball era since 1920 have had an OPS of 158 or higher in a qualified season where he played for multiple teams. Mark McGwire in 97, who had a 170 OPS plus, which is insane, and Manny Ramirez in 2008. Depending on where Soto finishes the season, he could join the list. Speaking of OPS plus, Soto and new teammate Fernando Tatis Jr. each had a career 160 OPS through the end of last season. That's tied with each other for the 5th highest OPS plus through a player's age 22 season, with a minimum of 1,000 plate appearances. They trailed Ted Williams, Mike Trout, Stan Musial, and Ty Cobb. That's 3 Hall of Famers and a future Hall of Famer. And now the next 2 players on the list are teammates.
That's crazy.
Oof. I think we're going to see a return of the Slam Diego kids.
That would be, dude.
Man, they've got
I don't hate San Diego at all.
No,
yeah, they do.
I like them.
I remember watching it. I don't remember what was a game last year. Tatis Jr. hit a home run, and like they flashed their lights like in the stadium on
Hmm.
and off, and it looked like a fucking party, man. I was like, I can get down with this.
They
Like that's
also had these really fucking cool, like 80s inspired jerseys that were like pink and teal, and I
yeah.
that's my favorite baseball jersey. I don't know why. I like the colors. I like loud colors, I guess. More context on why Soto is worth a trade like this. Some 170 players have at least 1,500 plate appearances since the start of 2018. Just 3 of them have more walks than strikeouts: Soto, Bregman, and Carlos Santana. Santana with 12 more walks than strikeouts, Bregman with 36 more walks than strikeouts, again, since the start of 2018, and Soto with 50 more walks.
Wow.
That is insane. 119 career home runs, 11th most by a player before turning 24. Last game with the National, 3 walks and a home run. Um, yeah, he's nuts.
Not a St. Louis Cardinal.
3 walks marked Soto's 31st career game with at least 3 walks. 2 more than any other player before turning 24 since 1901. Next on that list is Ted Williams with 29. 23 years old. It's Padres are the 8th team to acquire 2 players amid all-star campaigns, because they got Hader from the Brewers as well, and a very, very head scratcher. Very big head scratcher, I guess, because that's a first place team trading their closer,
Putting a lot of stock in Devin Williams.
I guess. The Padres, though, have been hurt. They are ranked 25th in the MLB in slugging. So,
Not no more.
they got some power. They needed the power. They got some power. You'd have to say, like, if a team can win the deadline, the Padres have to have won it. I mean, they gave up a haul.
Oh.
They gave up just an absolute haul.
Yeah, but if you're gonna take over LA and win that division and win a championship, it's worth it.
You've got to match their roster. Dodgers, speaking of, they got Joey Gallo from the Yankees. For Clayton Beeter.
Yeah, I saw that.
Clayton Beeter, their number 15 prospect. He's not doing too well this year, though. He's 23, so the same age as Juan Soto, with a 5.75 ERA and 16 starts. But he has struck out 88 batters. So, a decent return for the Yankees. They needed some pitching. The Red Sox helped free up
Gallo wasn't doing anything, so
yeah. The Red Sox helped free up the Padres deal to actually happen, because there was a period of time today where we thought that Eric Hosmer might hold up the deal. He was saying no to being traded because the Nationals were one of the 10 teams or 9 teams on his no-trade list, which is just hilarious. But he did end up going to the Red Sox for 2 prospects. Or no, Eric Hosmer, 2 prospects, and cash for Jay Groom, which I don't have anything on right now. Phillies got David Robertson. We talked about that, but they also got Noah Syndergaard from the Angels.
Yeah.
Mickey Moniak and an outfielder, Jadiel Sanchez, came back. Moniak, number 1 overall pick in the 2016 draft. He's only been in 47 games for the Phillies, hitting 129 with 1 home run in 105 appearances. So that's a light return, I think, for Syndergaard, but Syndergaard hadn't really been Thor lately.
Yeah, but he hasn't been Thor, like you just said.
Yeah. Twins
Been-
took Tyler
been
Mahle
shriveling.
from the Reds. Twins also got Jorge Lopez from the Orioles, which was another head scratcher, another closer on a team that's like somewhat contending. Angels also sent Raciel Iglesias for old friend Jesse Chavez and Tucker Davidson. The Royals finally traded Whit Merrifield.
I saw that.
That has been a ongoing joke for probably 4 off seasons now. He was the new Brian Roberts.
Yes.
Cardinals.
And there was about 25 minutes today where I was content with Wilson Contreras being a Ray.
Yeah, I was too. I had started looking at the prospect lists. That's
Like
still wild.
That was my best worst case scenario.
Yeah. Cardinals, who I don't know if you knew this, did not get Juan Soto. Did trade for Jordan Montgomery from the Yankees for Harrison Bader and a player to be named later, or cash. So just cash probably. Frankie Montas
I love that.
also went to the Yankees as well. So, I mean, it was a busy. The Angels were very busy. They sold a lot. The Mets kind of shit the bed. I think the Cardinals were smart and not getting in the Soto sweepstakes. I don't think they would have been able to afford them, and then the prospect capital and player capital that it would have taken, Dylan Carlson jokes aside, it would have set that team back, because while they have prospects coming up, they do have some age on their roster. And so, yeah, it was smart of them to step out of that bull ring once the Padres and Dodgers started going after it, because that's 2 of the best farm systems in baseball.
Right.
But yeah, the biggest surprise is what didn't happen. Wilson Contreras staying
Best trade.
a Cub.
The best trade of the day is one that Jed did not make.
Or, conversely, it's one that he fucked up. Maybe he did.
Well, fair enough.
Maybe he put all his eggs in the Padres basket. There was a lot of smoke with them. So, who knows?
Shit. Well, we'll be back on Friday for Rick's decision. He's been teasing us in the group chat all day long about which NFL team he's going to hook his hat to.
If you
So make sure you tune back in on Friday.
If you didn't hear it or see it, you should definitely watch the last episode to hear how good of a team ambassador I am. Because, got to tell you, everybody else's pitch was dog shit compared to mine. So,
Except for that Chicago one, baby.
no, I don't know. He should be a Jaguars fan. 20 minutes, Rick. 20 minutes.
All right, guys. We will be back on Friday right here on YouTube, 10:15 Central Standard Time. As always, be a friend, tell a friend. Ryan, I appreciate you, my friend. Anything fun this weekend?
Going to the zoo.
Ooh. Here in St. Louis or up there?
St. Louis. And I won't be calling you again.
You motherfuckers. So I've got two, I'm gonna call them friends, that live away, that always drive to fucking St. Louis.
We always have
and
our
they're like, "Oh, I had such a
kids.
good day in St. Louis." And then I'm like, "Oh, hey, it's weird. I live in St. Louis." It's not even just me, it's John too. Like y'all are.
I got kids, man. I got kids. Do you want to go hang out at a zoo with a 2-year-old?
Hey, take care of the kids.
You want to go hang out with a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old or 6-year-old, soon to be 7-year-old?
Depends. How high can we get?
My wife will also be with me, so no, I can't.
Oh well.
Yeah, she didn't like
At least
driving
there's
in St.
parental
Louis.
supervision. Oh well, nobody likes driving in St. Louis. All right, guys, we'll be back on Friday right here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, share to a friend. We will see you then. Thanks, everybody. Peace.
See ya.